I think there's no one inspiration that really comes to mind. I think for me, it's empowering to be part of a community of human rights defenders. I think no one can really work in isolation, and for me, especially when, I'm feeling down or feeling like I need a jolt in the right direction, it's really inspiring to be able to see what other people have achieved. Whether it's in my own field or not, I like to feel part of a community because I think we're stronger that way. But obviously, my friends see a brighter future for me, and I think that's really important. I think when you're doing human rights work, it can be very pessimistic because you're fighting against a lot of forces and a lot of institutions and power structures which are really hard to unpack. So I think it's important to be in a positive environment. I think a lot of people would be surprised to hear that I don't find myself inspiring at all because I'm just an ordinary person doing things that to some feel extraordinary, but I think everyone can have an impact in their own small way, and for me it just happens to be in a public atmosphere.
I tell you what inspires me: victims of human rights violations, victims of injustice, and their relatives or their loved ones fighting to get a remedy for that injustice. And I've met so many of those people, mainly in Latin America, but also around the world, who, after having suffered a grave human rights violation, they are really knocking from door to door in parliament with lawyers, with local human rights defenders, to fight for their son or their daughter to be released from prison because they've been falsely charged, or to have, medical attention because they've been tortured and get the perpetrator put in jail. Those are the people that actually inspire me.
In my case, I think I really had no option but to stand up for human rights, because I was growing up in India at a time when we had a political emergency declared by the then Prime Minister, Mrs. Gandhi. And it's the only time in India's history when the civil and political rights were suspended in the country. And people were arrested in mass numbers. The press was muzzled, civil society was crushed. So I grew up at a moment like that. And a lot of my friends, people I knew, were under attack from the regime. So I think I had really no choice. And so I've never looked back since.